Welcome back, everybody. We have a whole list of things to go over. I got questions galore, and right now, obviously, who do we have to interview? I know a lot of people in the chat know who we're going to interview tonight, but I want to do house interviews here to fill in the gap between the actual territory wars, where drill wars obviously people can't get territory. So with that, we're going to be doing house interviews, and luckily I got a good friend here tonight for our very first time doing this, especially for myself. So with that, I will unveil the house.
Oh, do I speak here?
Ah! I don't know if you have the stream up, but I totally didn't have anything showing who's being interviewed, and then I just enabled everything. And it shows your guys' emblem. Um, but yeah, so
Yeah, I can see
tonight
it. Looks good.
we are interviewing Forsaken Malum. We have Zinwarin here in the hot seat tonight to go over a in-depth house interview. I do want to take the time between the drill wars and whatnot to give houses a shout out. That might not totally be sought out for in the very beginning. I know a lot of people look as soon as they join the game to the big number houses. You look at Heavenly Kingdom, you look at Reforged, you look at the Borderlands stuff, and people trip up and don't see good solid houses like this on their own. So I do want to take time and after these territory wars, the drill wars, to shout out to these houses, do a little bit of an in-depth interview so people can get to know. Uh, Overall, just shout out these houses. So then, welcome. I appreciate you
Thanks.
on a dime today, like what 7 hours ago, agreeing to this. So, I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you. I know we have you a good amount of time on the TW news, so it only felt natural to have you on here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being, letting me be the first, I guess, first that comes to mind.
It was the
It's good to be here. I try and make it every TW.
Yeah,
Sometimes
for
work gets
sure.
in the way, but
So let's start getting into the questions here. I do have a list of questions that pretty much cooked up here for tonight, and let's start with your guys' origin story. How did the house form? I mean, where did Forsaken Malum come from?
so Forsaken Malum uh started a ways back to some extent. I used to be part of Oblivion, old house. They fought in season two for Conquerors City. Didn't get it. I joined at the very end of season two. Played with them through season three. You're also showing your entire Discord. Oh, you're taking it
There we
down.
go.
I see.
I fixed it.
Nice. Um, took a whole played with them for a season. Around season four, after I think like 2 or 3 weeks, they merged into Bossing Say. A group of us didn't want to do that. We said we want to keep playing our way. We wanted to keep playing the Oblivion way. So we made a new house that was Lupus and Puri. I left the house early, made it that way they could keep playing TWs. And about 10 to 12 vet players came over from Oblivion, and we started Lupus. Around midway through last season, I disagreed with some of the decisions that were being made, but I didn't want to force the house down a path that the other members weren't going to want to do. Uh, Same with my house. We don't make sacrifices. We don't change the house because one player wants that change.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to do. So I left. I joined Hightower for a time. A few weeks later, Robo also ended up leaving. He ended up coming with me in Hightower. Uh, we had some fun there. Hightower wasn't what we were looking for.
Mhm.
We learned a lot from them in the short time we were there. They were good players. This was right before they became tough. After that, we went to Syndicate, which was led by the pointy end XYT player. We back capped a lot of land. Once again, turned out not really what we were looking for. So we basically sat down and we said, look, we know what we want. We can't find what we want. We're willing to work for it. We're willing to build it up. So at about the last territory war of the season of last season, we made Forsaken Malum. We went with the name Forsaken because at the beginning of season five, there was a house called Forsaken Few. They fielded people. They made the game fun again. I was a big fan of them. So we went, with Forsaken's
Okay.
kind of honored that
Okay.
tradition and then ripped from other languages to make it sound fancy. From there, we recruited people. The goal for this season was to end with 15 solid players and maybe a piece of land if we were lucky.
You guys beat that.
Yes, many times over. So
Yeah, for sure. Like, I definitely know how you feel with, you know, starting it out on yourself. I kind of was having that personally with, back when I was in Unbroken, and I mean, basically the same thing almost. But it's good to see that, similar mindset and how these, that I'm not alone when it comes to that kind of situation. And I mean, both you've definitely prospered for sure. I mean, you guys are holding House of Barossa, Titstaz, and Coletti Casarda right now, so you guys have pretty much the pocket besides the fort that Fire Nation has. So overall, good on you guys. You guys definitely succeeded this season.
yeah, some of it was luck. A lot of it was help from Soda's been with us almost the entire season. Fire Nation has obviously been a big help. They're the same size as us and Soda put together, plus a little bit. So uh, great players all around in all three houses.
Definitely, I can't argue that enough. I mean, hell, Fire Nation putting up a huge fight for what good couple weeks with Ice Imperium, and they've been growing hugely steadily. So I mean, the whole your guys' whole picks, you haven't gone wrong so far. That's for sure.
Yeah, we try and keep the house moving, always moving forwards. We look back, we remember the past, but we keep moving forwards. Past already happened. We fix it, we move on.
Hmm. That's the
Yeah, no,
mindset you gotta have. You can't just hang on stuff, and that's like the worst part that I see. And actually, it's gonna kind of transition into the next question here, which is, what makes your house different from any other house? Say I'm a new player or somebody that is up to your requirements for your house. What would you tell me that will make me feel at ease to your house compared to any other house that they could have whispered?
one thing is we aren't led by a new player. When houses are made by new players, they're extremely limited in what they can teach you. I've talked with other players, I've talked with other new houses, and they go, I joined this house, and I'm at the point where they can't answer the questions I'm asking. Um, my guys have asked very few questions I can't answer. Normally, I know other people in the community that I can ask those questions to, and I can get an answer normally within, 24 hours. Another thing, people are free to go whenever they want. As you know, Robo Pounder, he's the one I founded the house with. After he got power back, he lived in Texas, ended up leaving the house. He didn't want to do it anymore. Building a house is hard. Playing with new players as high level players can be a struggle. He wanted to go play with vet players where he could learn more, right? He's been playing with me
Hmm.
since season four. Um, so he left. He went with you guys. After he left you guys, I helped him get into Unbroken. He's always welcome back whenever, and that's the same with all of our players. The only situation where that's not is if they come in here and they talk a bunch of trash or this or that, we don't want them back, obviously. But
But
welcome
yeah,
back,
that's definitely a three strike automatic mark.
pretty much. You can
So
come
you
here,
got
you can play, have a good time, but if you want to like talk bad about the house after you leave or whatever, that's fine. Don't come back.
fair enough. I mean, that's a very good selling point too, as far as because like at the end of the day, you're gonna keep the people that want to be there rather than feeling forced to be there, either mentally or just emotionally. And then you also have the aspect that, yeah, you've been playing the game for a while, you know everything. And like you said, I do want to actually kind of slightly just for a minute derail a little bit just because you brought it up about the community, getting information from the community. I actually am typing in chat. I actually did finally make a exclamation point Discord link. This brings to what is going to be the my own personal creation, still under construction. I'm gonna add a couple bots, make things a little bit more automated and easier. But trying to make a community hub, kind of like how Zelgis has the UN, Thaddeus has the UN Part Two Warsaw Pact, but without the negativity. Like I want to bring a community hub that people can come to that just doesn't have people screaming and calling each other, everything under the sun in chat. Just respectful chats. I do want to get a bot that highlights all CB streams when they go live. Um, a whole guide section for new players, so it's going to be very new player friendly, but also vet player friendly because I'll add some Diplo channels if need be. I pretty much have every alliance. I'm gonna have a role for every alliance under the sun, so people know who's where. And eventually going to find volunteer moderators to kind of help keep it together. But it's just the start. It's under construction. I do want to have that fully done by the next drill war. Um, but yeah, with that, we will go on to the next question here, which is, what are your goals for the house, Forsaken Mountain? Like overall, like I'm talking long term goal.
I mean, I think obviously to some extent, most houses would say I want to be the next HK or whatever.
Mhm.
For us, that's just not the case. When me and Robo built the house, when I've talked with the players, all their leadership, uh, we're honestly happy with being someone like Thor's, small and strong. Uh, if we get big and strong, that's great. If we become the next HK, that's great. The goals: have a good time, win fights, against whoever it is.
I like it.
Uh,
Very laid back, but also, get the good players, get the good fights, create the content, give your players the content. I mean, that's why we're all here on Tuesday and Saturday nights at the end of the day, right? Like nobody's gonna have fun queuing matchmaking, and that's just it.
yeah, I mean, it's like I've been telling people recently, especially new houses. They're like, I want to make a house, but I don't want to do TWs. Players come to the game for sieges. Most new players don't know what a TW is. Most new players, most people that stay playing the game, they play for TW, right? You see all the time. I challenge you to find a player who's not in a house, who doesn't play TWs above level 500. There's like 5 of them total on NA East. You don't see them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, just sure, you guys aren't exactly endgame, nor do you. Would if you guys got big enough to do endgame, would you guys, compete, say for, say Conqueror Cities open, not next season, but the season after, right? And you guys
100%.
are very successful and get the members, get the numbers. Would you go for something like that?
We will compete wherever we can. Uh, my guys want to be more competitive,
Hmm.
but that's like a stepping ladder. People say
Yeah,
they
for
want to
sure.
be more competitive, and they reach a point where they're like, "This is how competitive I want to be." Right? If as a house, majority of the players want to keep going and want to keep pushing, they want to take Conquerors, say they want to be the next HK, we can keep pushing and making steps for that. But it's also not something that's gonna happen overnight. They know that. We talk about it a lot on a weekly basis.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like we've previously discussed on the news. I mean, there's there's lofting things way up in the air that you're totally unsure, and then being reasonable and taking the steady route. Some people have succeeded with both sides. I mean, look at honestly HK. I mean, what, within 2 to 3 weeks, that entire alliance was multiple mergers upon mergers upon mergers of a bunch of just veteran houses at that point. So I mean, it's successfully done in both ways, whereas also you have successful alliances like Reforge has always been the long term, slowly progressing throughout, but then has now reached, well, I can't say now, I mean, from the very beginning of the game, even closed beta, they were a house. So they steadily made their way up and, made their name known. So I mean, either way, whichever way you guys do it, obviously slow and steady sounds like it. That's probably, in my opinion, the best route, just because you get a lot more camaraderie out of it. I mean, that's just the best way, in my opinion, to do it.
I agree. I mean, like you said with camaraderie, That's a lot of what we focus on.
Hmm.
People have tried to poach us before, and I'll tell people, if you want to leave the house, that's fine. If you want to go to this other house, go for it if that's what you want to do, right? I don't care about the players that leave. I care about the players that stay. You're still welcome back, but the players that stay are the ones that I prioritize. Are the ones I care about.
Got you. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a really good way to go about it. With the next one, what was your favorite fight this season? Overall, just the entire season, do you have just like one fight that you or your guys just completely memorable?
We talk about the Albertus fight a lot. Um, that's one where I think it's where everyone realized that we can fight even though we're smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Mercenary attacked us. They had like 45 guys on that fight. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't the highest tier fight. We had problems dropping arty. They weren't dropping enough arty. There's all sorts of problems like that. But regardless of the situation, our second time fighting in that FIF, 17 versus I think it ended with 45, and then Durandon having to come in and it taking both Durandon and Mercenary working together 20 minutes to cap home from 17 players. Only two or three of those players could be considered vet players. The rest of them had just started that season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we really showed that we can fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like just that when I saw you guys up there at the end of that war, I was like, holy shit, Forsaken Mountains up there? Like that's what? And I was completely bewildered because at that time I was starting to learn about you guys and like how actually like in depth like everyone knew like Forsaken Malum was there, but nobody really like at least I didn't know the gauge of your guys' strength at that time, and then I saw that and I was just like, oh damn, okay. Like they're there. I see them.
Yeah, it's the way I train my guys is different from a lot of houses. I don't sit there and a lot of people will stream like a unit training and they'll say this is how you do your things, this is how you do your things. We have some videos where I talk about every unit in the game, which need to be put in the new Discord. Hopefully, I don't forget that. We have people stream, and I'll tell them, hey, this is how you make your unit micro better. This is how you should have played this situation. You could have done this here. It's more one-on-one, and it's more they can learn the game at their pace. Because I can sail my guys down and say, you have to make 2 trainings a week, and they're at these times, otherwise you're out of the house or whatever. And sure, but we're gonna have new players that aren't gonna be able to keep up with that. We're gonna have the players in the house who just don't care. They'll go somewhere else. It's not
Mhm.
needed. If you sit down and let your guys learn at their pace, you make sure they're asking questions, and not just you. One
Mhm.
thing said it before TW. Don't just ask me. Am I a vet player? Yes. Am I the highest level player in the house? Yes. Ask other people. Ask the other leadership. I don't like Palace Guard. Both Krupp and Red, who are two of the essentials, like Palace Guard. They'll tell you why they do. I'll tell you why I don't. And that's just a good basis for every player in the game. Don't just ask one person. Don't get all your info from one source. People are biased for various
Yeah.
reasons.
I mean, for the longest time, people said, never bring Nomkins to territory war. And I kept doing it, and they're just like, Potato, why are you at like 200 unit kills? And I'm like, because people kick ladders and archers go doink doink. And they're just
Exactly.
like, like there's a lot of unconventional things that people don't think about because they just go meta 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 meta, and sure that works 90% of the time, but there's still that 10% where that once in a lifetime they will actually be super critical right here at this exact moment. Does that happen? Of course it does. And just knowing how to gauge that based upon your units and just unit knowledge and giving that to your players, like you said, you'd say no, but your seneschals would say yes. Like that's very important. I mean, like just that's key. Yeah, exactly, Poppy. Archers go dunk dunk. And with that, actually, real quick too. So I know you guys obviously you guys are way chiller, so I don't know how you're gonna take this question. But do you guys have like an actual nemesis or like a rival house, like somebody that like you would start at the very beginning of the season, you get tipped they're gonna go to this spot. Would you fight them over that? Like who would that be?
So, like I said, my guys are competitive. We want land and we want to do well. There's houses that we definitely don't like due to various reasons. For example, I'm not a fan of Noctum. 90% of guys who were in Oblivion at one point or another are going to tell you they don't like Noctum.
Knocked them. They're
Um,
still a thing.
no,
They're alive. I
but
was
but
gonna
if they come
say
back, even if it's under different leadership, I'm still not
hashtag
dip
dead
voting with
house.
them. Yeah. Uh, but there's not anyone out there that I'm like, if I see you, you're immediately who I'm coming to. Recently, I've had disagreements with two lieges from other houses. I basically told them, look, I don't care, leave me alone, right?
Yeah.
They know who they are. I'm not coming for them. If I see that they have land and I have no land, sure, I might go for them, but it's because I think I can take them, not because of that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, even the chillest houses have somebody that they're just like, you know what? I want to see them fight flips.
Exactly. My guys know this. During TWs, as far as TWs is concerned, I care very little about, to some extent, their individual experience when I'm shot calling things like that, and that's the same thing with the house. I leave it very emotionless. Uh, when we're doing TWs, we're there to win. We're gonna have a good time, but we're there to win. We duel in between fights, we talk shit, we have a good time. When we're in the fight, it's clear comms. We're only talking about the TW. If someone can't do that, they get server muted.
Yep. I mean, that's just basics right there. And if you're not doing that, like, then if you fail at a city or something like that, there's steps, and that's definitely one of them. I don't think we've ever had to actually like do that personally before, but I've seen it happen.
Yeah. We have one of our guys, I've had to server mute him 2 or 3 times during TWs. Uh, that's been fixed now. You
Oh,
know,
good.
he's a great player, great guy. Him and I don't necessarily see eye to eye, but we fixed that problem. You know, TW is all about communication. He's
Yep.
actually shot calling tonight at Hosperosa. I didn't do any of the shot calling tonight. We were defending Hosperosa the whole time. That
How'd that go?
December TW, I'm very unbiased. It was his first time shot calling. Is a lot different than he thought it was going to be. Overall, he did well. There's problems and kinks to fix out, but that's always when you try something new, you know?
Yeah, Drill
That's
War
what
is
we're
definitely the
using.
best time
Yeah,
to
that's what we're
feel
using
out.
Drill War to do is teach people.
Everybody get Cav. I don't care if it's level one. We go.
Yeah, that's what we
That
did
looks
last
sick.
season when we had like 10 people.
No, understandable, and I mean that's very good practice, especially with. I mean, I feel like one of the drill wars we're gonna do something like that, where we're gonna take a key location kind of in the middle of the map and then just hold it. But we'll have to see because we kind of want our guys to get a bunch of silver too.
Yeah, for me, it's, and I'm gonna bring up Noctum, but season 3 Noctum, Sad, and Mao Yang, their whole alliance did. And as Talamir, the Liege of Oblivion, had put it at that time, they got fat and dumb. A smaller alliance pushed into them and started taking all their land.
Yep, I
They
remember
sat
that.
there not getting fights. And I think that's a problem, and part of why Oblivion ended up failing in the end is we didn't do scrims. We didn't try and get people to actually do real fights during Joe Wars. Everyone ran around with Cav.
Well,
When
you
that
know why?
happens,
You know why they were there, right?
knocked them.
Yeah,
They were hiding. They just wanted land.
they
They're
were
like New
hiding
World. Yeah,
because that
that's
was
how it
the
was.
season Fear took over, and he was seneschal of Noctum, and then hated Talius. And every season, besides since season 1 and 2, they always started in Osteria. As soon as Fear told them, "Hey, we're starting Osteria," they went Maui.
Yeah, 100%. That's what knocked them
it
always
was
does. You
it
know,
was pretty hilarious.
they don't go for the actual fights and whatnot.
That's
But
something to add to your list too, right? What if somebody, one of those houses, right? Hypothetically, purely hypothetical, one of those houses you don't agree with that you mentioned that there was like two of them, they get bigger and they start being a threatening presence to even having the potential of being able to wipe for a war. Would that be something that would deter you, or would you just take it to the chin?
so in Oblivion, and like I said, this is kind of the Oblivion mentality that both Lupus has and this house had. We don't really blue with anyone. I believe every blue we have had in this alliance, except for one, has been due to the other houses. The only one where we said, yeah, we'll do it, is when Daddy Nugs came to me at the beginning of the season with Azur and Purim. We were going for the same piece of land. I knew we couldn't fight them. I also knew that Reamer wouldn't backstab me. I figured Daddy Nugs wouldn't either. You know, they're chill
Daddy
guys.
Nugs.
I don't always agree with the decisions they make, but they aren't going to backstab you like that. That's just the way they are. So I knew
Yeah.
we could trust them. And to some extent, like I said, it was out of necessity. When
Yeah,
you're going
absolutely.
house, getting that first piece of land is huge, both for your guys and recruiting.
Yeah, as soon as you get that 15 stack, the first thing you do is take a city, and once you do that, dude, people's
Don't
just,
leave. Never
yep,
leave.
you want to hold that as long as possible. You get recruits. Next thing you know, it's 20, 25, and next thing you know, you're just snowballing. And with that, too, we will go into our next question here, which if I asked myself this question, I could probably go on for hours. So, what is your favorite weapon currently in the game and why? Like
Hands
hero
down,
weapon.
short sword. It's hands down short sword. So I used to play on EU. I played on their launcher, the CB launcher, not on
Hmm.
Steam, and I played Glaive. I also ended up playing some short bow, some longbow, and some DB. Those are the only weapons I don't have maxed out on NA. I came over here at about 250. Started playing with Oblivion. At that point, I was playing Spear. When I talked with Talamir and Dover, they were like, "Yeah, man, Spear's good." And I was like, "Okay, but what can I do? What's good for a new player?" What they
Hmm.
ended up telling me was short sword. So I ended up going short sword. It's very tanky, very fast, and that's what I like about it. A lot of classes in this game feel very static to me and heavy. That's why I don't play anything other than short sword. You can build full strength, do a lot of damage, still be tanky. You can have huge impact both in death matches, sieges, TWs,
Hmm.
and you work as a solid pivot point for your team. The
I
short
mean,
sword's
just
not going anywhere if you play smart.
yeah. I mean, it's just one of the for me, it's one of the best. I guess overall classes. You can do just about anything besides shoot some. Actually, you can throw your shield. So yeah, you can literally just shoot people with a short shield.
I'm gonna be
So
honest with
like,
you, I don't run throw shield. The only
really,
time I run is in death matches.
really.
I run shield bash and I run barricade over throw shield most of the time.
Oh
The
wow.
reason why is barricade gives you a second CC break, so you're not so reliant on your 24-second cooldown Ironsides. Additionally, it reduces damage and that affects units. Shield bash can CC units and when used perfectly can stop half a mono charge.
I mean, yeah, but like, can you live the like just the afterwards of the charge? Because realistically, you
Yes,
could just Ironside into a Thunderstruck and do the same thing.
you don't need Ironsides into Thunderstruck, homie. You can use Shielded Charge to stop a mono charge. You can use Thunderstruck to stop a mono charge. Properly using a sprint attack into a shield bash can stop it. You don't
I
need to
mean,
push Ironsides.
who uses monos anymore? Like, I mean, in
That's
total
fair.
honesty, I mean, people right now. I
It's Laos.
discovered the amazing. Like, I couldn't figure out Laos until Drill War tonight, and I said, "This is fucking stupid."
No, they're crazy. You charge and you hit and everything around them dies.
Like, I
They're
would go
great
to
for
home
open
point
control.
farming AI, right? I would just charge them at home, wait for unit kills to start coming up, hit fucking two, and next thing you know, I'm at like 100. I'm like, what? What is that? But yeah, I mean, right now it's just Laos Rangers, Hussars. I've been trying to bring the Keshiks back a little bit. They're a little more flanky. You got definitely got to flank more than you used to. Even the Lancers do really well still. So like
Yeah.
those four, I mean, the only one that can really be stopped out of those is the Armageddon Lancers and the Keshiks. Like
Oh, the
Hussars will stop temporarily but keep going, and then Laos will just shoot you before you even get it up. So
so the thing is like especially with Cav, I don't think Keshiks were really ever that good. Keshiks were very easy to
they were
use.
busted. What
Let me
like?
explain. So there was one nerf done to Keshiks, which was during the turnaround in their charge, they would still be doing charge-based damage. Uh, what happened is the same thing that happened after season two. After season 2, Cav got nerfed and everyone lost their minds. They were like, Cav is garbage now, right? It was a huge nerf to Cav. You still see Cav. After a
Yeah.
month, everyone went, oh, as it turns out, Cav is still good. Uh, because of that, you saw Hussars getting used. What happened with Keshigs is they got a nerf, and everyone went, "Oh, they're garbage now. Oh no, you know." They
Hmm.
weren't really changed much. Um, that change wasn't that impactful. If you Keshigs have always been a pub stompy unit. You bring them into your sieges, you can get 200 kills. It's not that hard. They're amazing at dealing infantry if they get the flank off. But it's
Hmm.
always been with Keshigs. If you're playing against a house that's paying attention, that's using anti-cav and using it well, your Keshigs aren't going to do anything. Even back when people were using Keshigs a lot, the Hussars were knocking the pikes, stopping the guns, and then the Keshigs were cleaning up.
Oh,
Now
for
people are
sure.
just using the Liaos instead.
Yeah, you press a button. Oh,
Yeah.
and then now your shields are gone. I'm gonna press this other button. Both abilities knock back and stun. Like,
The other reason for Keshigs being very good is they were faster than Rattan Rangers. But Rattan Rangers got nerfed into the ground.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you feel Battle Baton Rangers, they're actually still amazing because of that movement speed debuff, and you can literally just have them auto aim to the hero and just kill the hero before the units even finish. Like, get
Yeah. Rattan Rangers are still viable in something like a field battle or a free field, but I don't think we'll really ever see them in territory wars again. They just don't have the raw burst output, which is what people are looking for right now.
yeah, like
It's
right
not
now
about sustained combat anymore.
it's burst. That's why
Yeah.
you also don't see monos really much anymore because monos are fantastic at what they do, but the meta's not surrounded by what they do. It's the burst damage, and then if you're not burst damaging, you're imp bike walking something that does burst damage.
Which is still CC that you're using to get your
Yeah.
burst off. Like,
It-
well, that's what it's all about. That's why, like, I think Glaive is underestimated right now. A lot of people don't put Glaive near the top of the top tier list
I mean,
classes.
it's good. Don't get me wrong, but like Maul's just
So
so
if you think
much.
about it, Glaive is like the best class at burst damage fighting because of the 15% damage buff and Flying Reaper reducing defenses. Or is it just increasing damage taken? It's one of those two, but
Yeah, it's some sort of increased damage
yeah,
on them.
it makes you burst harder, and that's what it's about right now.
I mean, yeah. Then you do that. You do damage buff Flying Reaper, and then into the what is it? You hit him with the butt of it, and it does like a quarter of your fucking health.
Yeah, and
It's
if you
busted.
want to take that to another level too, this is a build a lot of people don't know about. I've only talked to my guys in house about it, but I'll give you this one for free. Wearing two-piece of the epic poleaxe armor and replacing your bill hook with weapon dance is really good in TWs. Um, you aren't
Duly
really bill
noted.
hooking players much. You're ulting them and then you're back to Corvaning in TWs. No one's extending that hard, and if they extend that hard, you don't need the bill hook to kill them, right? You're not going to get
Yeah.
your CC chain. They're either going to die before the bill hook comes out or something
Hmm.
else is going on. So you place that with the weapon dance, turns into like an 80% damage reduction of everything around you for 5 seconds. That's huge, especially like when we're talking, it's all about burst damage.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's burst damage, and then doing something to reduce the burst damage. Like if you can mitigate damage, that's huge.
Yeah, and that's part of why short sword is good, is it can mitigate damage. Ironsides is very strong, but it's very burst focused, which is why
Busted.
short sword is good right now.
Yeah. I mean, if well, also the fact that what is it, a 6 second downtime? That's kind of insane.
No.
Or is that with the set bonus of the
Yeah,
epic
so
schematics?
with set bonus, it's
Trying to
12-second
remember.
uptime, 12-second downtime. You can only get
Okay.
50% uptime. Standard, it's 8 seconds uptime, and then you have 24 seconds cooldown, so it's like an 18-second or something like that, or
Still not
16-second
bad. You
cooldown.
can eat a
It's
charge.
solid. You can eat a lot of damage in that time.
Now, on top of the weapon, just this whole weapon discussion too, kind of tying it all with the season here. How do you feel about? I know there was huge patches considering the balancing. How do you feel about the season's unit, weapon, and artillery balances that
Uh,
came into play?
this season's or season seven's?
Well, I mean, we
I
don't
haven't.
know season seven
Okay.
anything yet.
Because I was like, I haven't looked at season seven's if it's out. Um, no, so I really hated that they nerfed short sword. A lot of people in the community complained about how tanky short sword was, which whatever. And then they nerfed shielded charge. They
Still
turned it
good
from a
though.
throw to a knockdown. It's still no, don't get me wrong. You still use it in every build. 100%. You
Yeah.
always run it. However, why? Just like when they
I
buffed Poleaxe,
I mean, to
why?
be fair, as an ex longsword player in the very beginning, I mean, shield bash was busted because it was literally two CCs.
Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of in a similar boat. I mean, if
I'm not
you
saying
chuck
I'm not
somebody
saying it
down.
shouldn't have been nerfed. The fact that you had two pure hard CCs that people couldn't get out of was extremely strong. But literally no one complained about that. There wasn't a single player in the game that I ever saw complain about. It's busted that shielded charge is a throw.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I never had anybody complaints at that level. If anything,
yeah.
I heard complaints about Iron Sides, and that's
Yeah, it's
about it.
always iron sides. I
Oh,
remember
yes.
back in season three when I started playing short sword and people would be like, you'd see someone on Reddit be like, short sword's OP, and everyone would laugh at them. They'd be like, haha, you're dumb. And now it's like short sword hadn't been changed, and people were suddenly like, it's OP.
Yeah, well, it's because everything else got nerfed. Flex got buffed. Longbow,
Still don't know
if
why.
you play it, Godspeed. Um, Shortbow got buffed.
Yeah,
Longsword got nerfed yet again for zero reason. Well, I mean, it was Valor got buffed, but everything else got fucked.
I think it got buffed like a few weeks ago, like a month ago. I thought it
Yeah,
got some damage buffs.
yeah, with Valor and trying to remember exactly what I think they buffed the damage on Paladin. I think it was either Paladin or the on hit lifesteal one.
All I know is you have to be running with Valor on Longsword, man. With Valor and Mercy of Heaven.
You have to buff Shortbow. Shortbow's got like one of the best 1v1 dueling potential besides
Dude.
Musket, like one of the best.
No, no, it can beat DB and Poleaxe. Shortbow wins every duel matchup in the game right now. Because rolling in Zim is
Zimster, did someone
extremely
say
powerful.
Shortbow? And Pineapple, I see you in waiting to be pulled. So what I'm gonna do at the end of my questions is I'm gonna open the floor. So if people want to ask Zin a question, as far as this is house interview related, has to do with the house, nothing toxic. You do something toxic, Discord, I'll just, especially on voice, just get rid of it real quick. But if people have questions, you can type exclamation Discord and wait in the. Obviously, I got a second Discord up to give roles. Just post in role requests, and I can get you the roles so you can go to the waiting room, and I'll pull you up when the time comes for that.
By the way,
Oh,
Zimster, I was not there at the beginning of the season when you hit us. I was over at the other fight. You were fighting against Robo Shot Calling and my new guys. I had about three members with me, I think capturing a village
oh
at that
yeah, we did
time.
fight you guys.
I didn't get to fight you, Robo did. My guys were pretty salty about it. I was like, guys, they were just looking for fights. They weren't targeting us. We were just here. Breathe.
Breathe.
After a couple days, they all chilled out about it, so I don't think any of them really even remember it until it just got brought up, so.
But again, like that, we just went over like weapons too. How did you think of like the new season units?
Uh,
Well,
there's an image
upgrades.
of it that got leaked, right?
Well, I'm saying of this season that ended.
Oh, I
Yeah, this is
like them
all
and I
season
hate
6.
them. Okay. So I don't like Lanchinets.
I love
Um,
them.
so here's the
So
thing. I
you
like
get into a
helping.
match with a new recruit you get,
Yeah.
and then you run Landschnecks, and you watch as 6 heroes by themselves run up a siege tower that you have them braced at, and you press 2 and click. It is the
So
funniest shit you will see.
one of my guys tells me that constantly. Normal hobbies do that, and so do prefecture pikes. And they have other uses outside of that one specific situation. Normal hobbies hit nearly as hard, and they're actually really good in the brace. They can kill Cav as long as they aren't directly charged. Prefecture pikes, everyone who's been playing the game long enough knows, max out prefecture pikes is you ground one shot just about anything in the game they touch. Even as a short sword, you can pop Ironsides and shielded charge into a prefecture pike column charge and you will die. Even if you're full armor, you die there, guaranteed.
Yeah.
My mic is too sensitive.
No, it's mine.
Oh,
So guys, it's a trade-off, right? You got that just a little typing, right? Or I have to import voice meter, which Discord doesn't like, and then on Discord's end, it sounds absolutely atrocious and robotic. You could ask Zimster. Uh, it's just awful. I sound like a robot.
yes,
So,
it is.
but yeah. Um, and as far as like, I mean, obviously stalwarts kind of changed the meta, and they became. I mean, it was spear sergeants for a long time, and then stalwarts. Like you have to have stalwarts just because the brace is so freaking ridiculously stupid.
I agree. I think you can still run spear sergeants. They aren't as
Yes,
good.
yes, that's what I
It
wanted to
just
bring up too.
is.
They beat stalwarts. They beat their ass
They do,
because
and that's why I have to tell
you
them
gotta
as is
position
good.
you gotta position the stalwarts where spear sergeants you go her press 2. Hey, I'm walk behind you and you take 20% damage from the back and you just death ball them from behind. Like if they're
That's
not
what
holding a choke that you can't get around, spear sergeants absolutely destroy them.
that's why I tell my guys all the time. Like a lot of guys are like, I have to have spear sergeants. I have to have spear sergeants. There's no other options. And what I tell them is, before spear sergeants, people used, or not spear sergeants, stalwarts. People used spear sergeants or they used imp shields. I don't like imp shields. I never have. I
Oh
never did.
god,
I never will.
no.
They're slow and they can't do anything on their own. They need
They
help. I don't
yep,
like them.
they're purely
However,
support. But if you get a
they're
longsword,
ungodly tanky if you have a longsword, exactly.
yeah,
Speed
like
boost, heal on top of their other heal, and their stats, it's oh my god, please.
they can't die. And the
Can
fact
we
that they
get
have the shield bash that like knocks them back from them.
it's
Oof.
so annoying. But they can't with spear sergeants and stalwarts, you can set them up somewhere, and if two people come at you, you can fight that. You might not win, but you'll do well enough. Imperial shields are just going to sit there and die. It's going to take a long time, but they will die.
Or a
Uh,
really good hussar charge.
Yeah, yeah, or or a cav charge because they can't
Or
fight
allow
cav.
rangers.
But spear sergeants are still 100% viable. You have to use them. Would I take them over stalwarts? No. But let's say you can run triple tier 4, solid tier 4 units, but you have a 15 leadership difference between being able to run that and not being able to. Bring the spear sergeants instead of the stalwarts. You can still make
Yeah.
them work. It takes more work, and they aren't as good against cav. Stay with your imp pikes. It's not a solo game.
Like you could literally kill I would say you could kill any cav in a game, including Laos, if you get a good impike advance that holds them for the advance and you just cover commander into them, you would
Yeah, spear sergeants have always been able to not always. Since season 3, spear sergeants have been able to perform well and they still can.
yeah, I mean, I don't get why everyone's just like I'm right now leveling a whole second, spear sergeants on their own, so I'm gonna have stalwarts and spear sergeants just for that
So
variability.
and that most of my guys run spear sergeants because they don't have stalwarts. They go after the Namkins and the Condos first to help them a little bit more in the early game, and then they go do this season stuff, and then they go, okay, I'm level 120 now. I want to work on my stalwarts. Well, you're 75% of the way through the season.
Yep.
A lot of my guys are just now getting them.
I mean, there's players that we recruited that are like, you guys got Laos Rangers, and we're like, yeah, and they're like, but how? There's so many quests, and we're just like, we don't know how to say this, but we've played enough of this game where we hate ourselves.
Did no one remembers the old Keshig grind of doing like 80 challenges to unlock
Oh
Keshigs?
my
I'm gonna
god.
be real with you. I was slowly working on them. I just gave up. I was like, I'm never getting Keshigs. And then
I bought the
they
last couple
dropped it.
pages.
Yeah, they dropped it. I was like, money, done. I just got a bonus from work. Done. Not doing it. Got Keshigs. Never gonna use them, but I have them.
Oh jeez. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of one of their microtransactions. Just putting such a wall up that people are just like, fuck that money.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, Paladins though, Paladins were a great change of pace compared to the shitty ass Minotaurs.
That's what I tell my guys all the time. Dude, new players still go for men at arms. One of the first units they go for still. I'm like, bro, they're not good. You only get them for two reasons. One, if you want monastics. Two, if you want to start leveling your pallies sooner. And they're like, but they do so good. I'm like, yes, you're level 30. Everything does well.
Yeah,
Most units
like
kill tier 2.
it's just men at arms do what paladins do, but far superiorly shittily. Like you would have to just the only thing you could charge with men at arms is archers. I still like them though. I use them every now and then, but I feel like stalwarts are definitely more prominent in the meta itself. And I mean, also we got the. I wonder. We'll get on that after, but
One of my
Armageddon Lancers.
armor gears, dude. Oh my
I
god.
love them.
I
I got
I've been telling my guys all season. A lot of them are just now unlocking them. They're like, oh, Zen
they're
armor gears
so
are great. They
good.
fit perfectly into my loadout. This uses all of my leadership. This is great. And I'm like, dude, I feel bad for you. And they're like, why? And like, well, they're gonna go up 10 leadership. And they're like, okay, so I just need like another piece. I'm like, they're probably getting nerfed. They're so strong. 230, even 240 leadership for Armageddon Lancers is so strong. Like, what would you say is stronger in the game right now? Fortebraccios or Armageddon Lancers? I'd say Armageddons. I love 40s. I bring them every T-War we're defending a city. But Armageddons are just so strong.
They
Um,
are.
for
I
for
mean,
230 leadership, every other cav unit in this game that's tier 4 costs like 260.
yep. Well, you also got to realize too that it has a 10% reduction, but even then, like, there's still gonna be like 5 leadership less than that. So like,
There's
they're just so good. Like they're cataphracts that aren't dog shit. You just cover command them around a corner, and you could literally just drag yourself into like anything, and they kill it.
they are everything you want. Honestly, almost out of a tier 5 cav unit. I would honestly say you just give them some stat buffs and maybe a little bit longer lancers or lances. That's a tier 5 unit right now.
Mm-hmm. For
And they
sure,
have
I
the
100%
regen.
agree.
No one talks about the regen, but that comes in clutch. That's more
Oh,
HP.
I go that. Yep, I go that veteran C tree.
I
Actually,
went top because damage, but
real quick, just because Zimster sent it to me, here
oh
we'll put
no.
it on.
I don't
So
recall ever fighting Zimster, but I know he plays
I think it's
shotgun.
in a
He's gonna make me look
matchmaking
good.
match, so that I think that's what it is.
It's
See,
been a
so
long time, I'm pretty sure, since I fought Zim in a match, so I'm still concerned.
all
I feel
right.
like I'm
Uh
gonna
oh, here we
die.
go. Here, I'll turn. Oh, 1 second. I gotta turn the Discord off, but the desk can't
Oh
hear you
no,
for
I
one
do
sec.
remember this.
Oh, he's got the moves. Oh, the Zimster. Oh wait, there's a 2v1. Whoa, Zim. Whoa. I can't whistle. Blow the whole. Let's get a replay. Who is Jin Ramen? Zim? Zim? You had a maul helping you. Bro, 80 is not 100%. Okay, wait. I'm gonna turn Discord audio back on so they can hear you here.
Alright, we're gonna talk about why
Alright, here
shotgun's
we go.
really OP. Watch these first 2 seconds. You see me pull
Oh,
my
the
foot, you see
iframe?
it hit. You see it hit. You see
Iframe.
him take damage, and then you see him leave. You see that?
I mean, that
No
was
one
still
will
super clean how he
ever say,
comboed that, though. That was clean.
okay, it's clean, but you saw it hit. You saw it take me out of the animation.
Right there. Yep.
You see it happen. You see me. I hit that. See? He's hit.
Yo,
And then he just
where,
leaves.
dude, you know Art do the car insurance commercial with the fucking old guy? Ah, you almost got me down there.
Yeah, dude. That's what it's like, dude. That's why I hate purples. Like,
But
in
right
my
right
opinion,
right
there's
here is
people that
where it
will
gets
argue.
clean. Like he hits you with
Yeah,
the stagger into a shot into the ulti, which staggers you again, and it also takes like a third of your health, like a good chunk of your health, into a bola, and you're
I
pretty
was
much
wearing
dead.
Carnifex, I'm pretty sure.
Why are you wearing Carnifex? That was so no.
So, as I recall, we were doing Nadachi duels, and I had a Nadachi dual build on, and I was like, I guess I'll just play Polex. I guess I'll just take the extra damage. And I think I did garbage that match too. That was when I was running pure tier 2 and tier 3. I did that for about 2.5 weeks. It's another thing new players, they love to say, you only do well because you have these units or whatever. It's like, nah, man. Good players can bring tier 2, tier 3, get over 100 unit kills consistently.
I've literally been only playing blue and below units due to bronze because I ran gold cap for like 90% of the season.
Oh, that sucks, man.
And
You
I
can still
still
do
get
good.
150, 200 unit kills. I've had games where I got to 200.
Yeah,
Are they
man.
few and far between compared to when I could bring my purples? Yeah, but do I also get over 100? Yeah.
Yeah, you can consistently do it. It doesn't matter what class you play. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the game's 100% skill based, and people say it's RNG based because, like, you can hit from this number to
Everything's
this number with
RNG
your
based.
attacks. And it's like, sure, how
Yeah,
often do you lose a fight because of 1 HP?
yeah, right. Yeah, it is gonna be one house per stream. Ace.
Oh, it's been an hour. We've overshot your goal.
Has oh my no well I mean we started technically at 10:45. I was expecting it to be a half an hour and I still got a couple questions. We haven't
Dude,
even gone over artillery. Oh my
dude, I
god.
can I can go for a while. I told you that beforehand.
And on that note, how do you feel about Artie? I mean, obviously people are dropping bombards. Look at Trollvaros. Uh
Ah, God. On bombards, I hate bombards. I hate using bombards. I have two of them. I respect the piece of Artie. It one-shots everything it hits, but it's everything I hate about cannons. I hate cannons
yep,
so much. On the Artie nerfs, I have mixed feelings about it. I do think purple Artie need to be nerfed.
definitely.
I think it would even outside of Regionopolis. I think Purple already made just such a big gap, especially between newer houses and older houses, that it
Hmm.
almost made it impossible to catch up because the older houses get the purple mortar spots every season. They make their purple mortars, they stockpile them, they don't let anyone else get them because that's huge. Um, I don't think the nerfs need to be that drastic. They lost like 60% of their damage. Like, they're better than blues,
Well, I mean,
but eh, they're not that
mortars
much better.
mortars were one-shotting shield positions. Like,
Oh,
let's be
100%. Well, they
real.
were one-shotting heroes, spear sergeants. Same thing with the cannons. And again, I agree with the nerf. That was ridiculous amounts of damage. Only like legendary Artie or specific purples like Siege Ballista should have that amount of impact. You know, Artie that you can't just spam craft. But I do think the amount that they nerfed it was just a little bit too. I think it should do just a little bit more damage. You know, add
Yeah.
2, 3 more K on there. Um, just
I
just
wish
give
they
it
did a
that little bit
little
extra.
more. Yeah, like the
Leave it
difference
with a
between
little bit more
blue,
meat.
like we tell people for most of the season, don't even bring purple arty unless we're on defense, and it's like
Yeah, it's not worth.
an Andalus city, and you're all the way up top shooting at wall. Like blue arty does just as much damage, but you have the smaller range, which is good because then if you can place a mortar at like a breach and just lob it right over and just stop shit from even
Yeah,
getting there.
it's it's good. It's bad. It's not the worst nerf they've done. Like,
They've done worse things, that is for sure.
100%, dude. Well, my guys are all like, oh, we're keeping the blades, we're keeping the blades, they're getting transferred over. I'm like, let me tell you a story about
Oh,
elephants in the game.
people
The
finally
devs will
got
say they'll do
compensated.
things.
Finally.
Fine, yeah, a year and a half later. Good job, devs. They got 6 years of premium, which none of them need or want. Uh, and by the way, 70% of them don't play the game anymore.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think that kind of, and it went to content creators too. If you were a content creator, I think season 4 you got it. And I remember Zim like potato, and I'm just like, what's up? And he's just like, I just got mail in game, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, I just got a bunch of shit for elephant reimbursement. What the fuck is this about? And I was like, oh yeah, content creators got that package, and then now that you're not doing it, you got it. And he was like, what?
Yeah, dude, like it
But
it just seems like too
it
little
was
too late to
also
me.
it was, but what they gave you for it, it's equivalent to a lot of money.
Well, so I haven't done the conversions, but let's say I think the big pack was 150 bucks, right?
Yeah, something like that.
If you would have invested or done something else, or even just put in that 150 bucks in the bank for the last year and a half, where would you be at relative to those sovereigns? And do you even have enough things in the game to buy with those sovereigns that you actually care about at
Oh
that
yeah,
time?
it is less than 100, but it's
Yeah,
like $75.
it's like 75
70.
bucks, and then you're getting like what, probably $200 worth of uh whatchamacall, premium time. What that tells me though is they don't think the game's gonna last 6 years. Based off the patterns we've seen them follow, they don't think the game is gonna last another 6 years, at least under my.com's control.
We'll have to see. I mean,
I hope it does. I don't plan on
I
quitting the game
I
anytime
like
soon.
the I would like the game to get the shit together, get balanced, get, make Cav as an auxiliary unit as far as not being the unit to bring,
I agree.
and things would be way better. I digress
It's
on
not
that. We
even
could we could probably go on this for hours.
one thing on Cav though. It's not even like tier 5 Cav is that strong as individuals. It's when there's 15 units of it.
Oh yeah.
That's when it's a
Well, I mean, except for
problem.
Laos. Laos can kill like 4 units by himself.
Yeah, no, Laos are busted, but every seasonal tier 5 unit is busted when it comes out and then it gets nerfed. You got to get people to pay for it. That's how they make money. That's fair. That's every company in every game.
With talking about the balancing throughout the season and whatnot, obviously we're saying or just discussing what could make the game better. But what are your favorite aspects of just Conqueror's Blade in general? Like what gets you up in the morning and go, I'm gonna play Conqueror's Blade today because.
So, like I said before, people come to the game for sieges. I came to the game for sieges. I was like, this is fun. This is cool. Large scale, you get to be the commander and you get to command your troops, right? Um, I love that. And then you bring in House Wars, and it's not like I'm microing all these players. No, I'm sending you here, and you are fighting. I'm not telling you how to fight. I'm not telling you exactly what to do. You're doing it your way, and as long as it works, I don't care. And that's what gets me up in the morning is to grind for TW, whether it's more bronze, RD, teach my guys, recruit. I don't play the game much. I'm only like blue 56 this season. I spend more time diploing, recruiting, just sitting there chilling with my guys, dueling for fun, just chilling out. For me, it's to some extent it's the community, despite how toxic and to some extent crappy the community can be a lot of the time. If you have the right people, if you chill with the right people, it's a great community.
Yeah, that's exactly like in the beginning stream. That's why I'm trying to build up this other Discord so that, you know,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
I I haven't even looked at Warsaw. I think I looked at it this very morning, and then that's when I was like, why? And
I hate the UNM Warsaw. No offense to the people that run it, but it's just old BSing. Like, you don't see anything there of actual
there's
interest.
no there's no growth either. Like I
Yeah, it's
want
the
to
same jokes,
create
man.
Yeah, I want to create a positive community where people are building each other up, closing that skill gap, making fights, a lot more fun. The closer to the match, the more fun it's gonna be. If you just sit there shit stomp all day, you're not having fun. It's just okay.
Yes.
Let's take this out. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I don't use either Discord. I pretty much just use my Discord unless I'm diploing with another house or alliance. Uh, like I said, I chill with my guys.
for sure. And with that, actually, we coming to the last question. Now, obviously, I was actually informed because I saw this, but I guess the background here that I have here of the the quote unquote leaked wallpaper of the next season, the Viking one. I was recently told that's not actually what it's gonna be. I'm not entirely sure or why somebody
Hope not.
put that. I saw people in other discords get hyped. Some people like really, but you know, if that's not gonna be it, what's your ideal, uh, I guess, like setting for the next season?
I don't have one. So me and my guys actually had a conversation about this a few days just before the leak, like literally the night before they posted the coming soon in 4 days or whatever, right? They're like, Zim, what's next season gonna be? What's next season gonna be? I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you, dude. It's probably Vikings. And my guys are like, yeah, Vikings. I'm like, I don't want that. Part of the reason is I care a lot about immersion in my games, and for me, I think Vikings are gonna ruin that immersion. Um, that being said, they did that community vote. As I recall, Vikings were very high on that list of what people want to see in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I was also told by some guys in Fire Nation that they said they heard there's a leak that's going to be Chinese. I've also heard there's a leak that Lian Yu is being opened. If Lian
Yep,
Yu is
I heard that.
opened, it makes sense that it's Chinese. Um,
Well, it's
I
their turn,
don't.
right? It's always been east, then west, then east, then west, then east, then west, and
It
you'd think they would
hasn't
just
till
continue that.
recently.
Well, I mean, what it was?
We
Let's
had
let's.
Laos this season. They like to change up the rules on us, which I like. Every season they do something a little bit different with how the seasons and the units work. So yes, they did the East and West, and then they did promotional units, and then they did this and they did this. Right? They keep changing and expanding how seasons can and will work. So in season one, Honor Tree. Season two, we had like the tiered up system for the season two units, Takeshi's,
Yep.
right? Then we got the system we've been using, which is kind of like you unlock all the units in order. It's chilled, whatever. We got that again, but we got the tier 5 before one of the tier 4s.
Yep.
Then after that, we got promotional units mixed in with new seasonal units, and then we got 3 promotional units instead of 4 units.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the big things we see that I think it's important to remember is you have 2 Western units and an Eastern unit in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they
Um,
definitely have mixed it up a little bit, but I'm kind of curious because the setting has all been west for. Are we gonna see another Dai Chang? Oh my god, I can't even remember what the Maoyang capital was. Fuck. Oh, what was
but
it called?
Oh, it's capital? No one knows because no one liked it there, dude. Half the people that I know can't even pronounce it. They just call it Mayo Land. I'm like, nah, man, that's Minnesota. I know, I live here.
Well, Dai
So,
Chang is Liang Yun. We're talking about Maoyang.
yeah, no,
Um,
no one knows what it is because everyone hates the sandbox.
yeah,
To the
but
to
I'd
the new
say you
players
know
out
what?
there,
They don't
ask your
have
lieges
snow.
about the sandbox.
They don't
Ask them.
have the snow.
Yeah, but it's in the north. We and you, in theory, also wouldn't have snow, but it's also level with
Yeah, it's true.
Uh, they're likely going to take away the snow, except for maybe Osteria. They'll maybe keep Osteria and maybe northern borderlands snowy.
Maybe.
There's also something that people haven't talked about, which is the potential that we maybe, I'm not even saying I think this, but we get another region, a sixth region.
But where
It's
would you
mapped out.
have it?
I believe there's room in the west. Let me double check.
Well,
But
yeah, the west has the lesser green peaks in the top left with the
yeah,
Holy Blood River,
yep, Holy Blood River. It has all
and
of
that's
that.
all snow.
But it, yeah, and that doesn't have roads. In the east, we do see an area that it used to have roads. It looks like it doesn't have the roads mapped out anymore. And we didn't get that. We got Undula. And Undula didn't have the roads mapped out. So if they follow that pattern, it could be a new western region while
Yeah,
they
but would
try
you
and
do
make the
West
east
three
more
seasons in a
appealing.
row? Analang, that's what it was. Thank you, PlaySven.
I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, that's
the
what it
devs
was
are
called. Now they said
unpredictable.
it.
I think the devs are unpredictable in both what they do and can do. You know what I mean? They've
Mm-hmm.
done great things with the game. They've done really horrible things with the games at times too. They've made very questionable decisions. They made decisions that make sense,
Battle
such
lines.
as buffing Poleaxe. Why did they buff Poleaxe? More people complained about. I don't think there's anyone that ever seriously said Poleaxe needs a buff that knew about the game,
Real
as of
quick,
recent times.
thank
Yeah,
you,
go for it.
Omnisan, for subscribing. I appreciate that, my dude. Resubscribed for second month going on. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the devs, like with the very catastrophic stuff that happened, like battle lines, they were like, whoa, okay, there is a vast majority of no's. Like, and it did not last like a super long time either. It was, no, all right, that's finished. Get it out of here. It's gone forever. So hopefully they do the same thing with, some, obviously nobody wants the snow. Worst, one of the worst ideas they've ever had. I get what, the dynamic it brings, and an interesting new mechanic, but
What was
at the
that
end of the
again? You cut
day,
out on my end.
the just the snow mechanic of just being sluggish
Oh, I
even
don't
more.
mind it that much, to be honest. I think it adds an extra layer.